We talked about the Pokemon who should receive some Galarian forms, but don't necessarily need to evolve. This video, however, looks at 10 Pokemon that should evolve in their own region-exclusive versions and branch out from the pack like an Obstagoon or Cursula, leaving their past behind and becoming one form further away from their original selves once they've adapted to a new region. They fly to one continent over, they hit puberty the second they land. And as they leave their old selves behind, we do the same and become one with today's date night topic of another Sword and Shield video. But at least it's about evolution, which is us evolving, and is a great topic for a date. I cannot make another anime video right. I can't. Also, I hope I really managed to get this out Friday. There's text on the screen that it's not Friday, I'm sorry. Well, grab yourself a cup of hot chocolate or one of those large Arizona iced tea cans, and get yourself comfortable to click that like button as we journey together through the 10 Pokemon who should gain an evolution in a Galarian form. Number 10, Grumpig. The Grumpy Pig stumbles its way into this list as one of those Pokemon that evolves just one time, and you look at it and go, oh hey, what if we put one more evolution? Oh look, a perfect fit! I think Galarian evolutions need to be with really specific Pokemon that you can leave as a legacy reminder on its own, where the original doesn't have to have an evolution and could just be remembered as a complete line, while moving over to Generation 8 and having your evolution there. Ones like Berserker and Runerigus are nice as well, where they're more of a completely different evolution for the slightly changed original Pokemon. For Grumpig, however, I think a new customary line would be a great addition. It is the Manipulate Pokemon, and that's pretty basic, so what if we made it a normal type? No one really swaps over to normal, and you can have the humble looking normal Spoink and Grumpig. Maybe a little leaner, maybe Spoink gets legs, becomes Splegs, and they would evolve into what I would expect is a more fierce, brown boar man that brings a drastic change to the one's psychic line. Even though I think normal on its own would be great, as a decent change to see be brought in as a typing someone changes into, you could also add in a second typing to blend in some more characteristics and use that typing to define parts of their design. Maybe a dual type, normal pork. In Japanese, Grumpig is also called Boopig. Why not a ghost form? With a final Ghost Boar Man evolution. There are probably already pretty standard Ghost Grumpig concept arts, while with it currently being the magical typing of Psychic, but Boar Man, without legs, as a spirit, who's this angry fearful ghost that Grumpig evolves into, could work rather well for this rarely mentioned pig. Psychic to Ghost seems like a story change too, and ghosts in general usually bring in some good stories as well. If Corsola is changing for climate change, maybe Grumpig's ghosting because of the farming industry. Number 9, Goldduck. I could see both forms of Galarian evolutions on Goldduck, where I would love for it to change into a new type and evolve, all the while keeping that staple Gen 1 where we're done a regular Goldduck reminder, but now with a new light for what it could become in Generation 8. There are a lot of types you could add onto it, and for the most part Psychic comes to mind, but an even greater contrast could be a fighting type. The Psychic Water version will be really suitable for the entire line, what with Psyduck's headache and magic auras of power, this could be a simple change for that too. Making Psyduck and Goldduck a little less angry looking, and a little deeper into having read Lord of the Rings for the 4th time and they're now all dressed up as Gandalf. They could then evolve into more of a wizard with a cloak and a wand, and all of a sudden Sora and Goofy don't need Donald anymore. And Goldduck can utilize the plethora of psychic moves it happens to learn. For the Fighting Water version, which is a pretty rare type on its own, the entire line could buff up. Psyduck in gym shorts, with abs, Goldduck as itself, with abs, and you guessed it, it evolves into a stronger looking muscular Goldduck evolution, with abs. What I didn't tell you is that they do upgrade each time from a 4-pack, to a 6-pack, to an 8-pack. That's the Galarian twist you didn't see coming. Number 8, Kamala. There's something about these little bears that make you just want another large bear to complete the line. Kamala just sleeping with its log and his tiny self definitely felt a lot of appreciation for its design, but there was still that hope for a new evolution, however we could still accept the small sleeping bear. The type of evolution I'm thinking, however, is another man-boar like Grumpig, so a man-bear. Is there a bear equivalent of a werewolf? Sasquatch? A bear-wolf? Well, that takes away the were part. If we're evolving Kamala, the go-to type here would be to focus on the wood and make it a grass-type lumberjack. Imagine the story of its creation. It hatched out of an egg, fell asleep because it's an Alola and that's all you do on vacation, But when it goes to Galar, it wakes up from all the jet lag, I guess, it notices the log it loves, and it tests its entire life to becoming a grass bear that cuts and shapes logs to make them as perfect as the one it holds. Maybe some wood armor on its evolution, and possibly a little greener and grassier. You know what they say, the grass isn't that green till they give Kamala a grass-type regional form in evolution. And I just agree with these common day sayings. Number 7. Swallow. Swallow is one of those appreciated birds that you can look at after one evolution and think, it's complete. So it really fits the mark here for a new type makeover, an added evolution, and the memories of its original self still being there in Generation 3, thinking about the past, flying over water 70% of the time and land for the remaining 30%. I think an out there guess for an electric Swallow evolution, dating back to the time Pikachu and Swallow fused together into solid gold and created the Thunderbird, would be a real surprise and a design that Swallow's very natural good bird looks could intake very well. I also think they could go the route of a pure flying type, where the whole line just brushed up a little bit and evolves into a more feathery, leader of the pack bird that Swallow could really look to transform to. It already has that confident look you'd expect from a Pokemon moving in that direction. I mean, if they're gonna take away the water typing from Slowpoke and just shimmy up its head and tail with some yellow polish, I think this method of pure typing would be really well executed onto Swallow. I'm sure Galarian Slowking and Slowpoke will have many more changes before a simple Swallow soaring solely solo being given an electric flying type or a pure flying type, we can swallow the entire sky. Number 6. Heliolisk. A lot of these were some really popular picks for regular evolution hopes in new generations, but Heliolisk is no exception, and the ability to both evolve and either completely change the typing or keep half and maximize the design potential with another brings an entirely new world of possibilities compared to a regular evolution. I know that Heliolisk is the only Pokemon on this list that is in the games already, but this would be such a perfect situation to evolve this middle evolution looking Pokemon that turns out to be a final evolution in the 6th generation. If there is any type that immediately comes to mind, it has to be Fire Electric. It would also work well in the DLC if they hide this new evolution of Heliolisk in a spot you can now unlock, like the sun. Oh hey, Galarian Volcarona from the last video. I didn't know you were still here. That's such an awesome typing on its own, and only used by Rotom Stove and no one else. I would love to see this type better utilized with a more sun-based, orangey Heliolisk evolution popping up and summoning Thunderbolts and Flamethrowers at the same time. Really just a more full-designed evolution would do Heliolisk wonders. If it adapted the Galar region as the chill teenage brother it looks like, into a new Sundial Pokemon evolution, with flames and maybe a bit wise, pretty crafty, and more toned up in its body, then this could honestly look like an electric-type starter Pokemon line. It'd be Poiple's alternate universe starter Pokemon, where Helioptile is now the star of Pokemon Yellow. Gotta say though, the normal typing doesn't do too much for this line, so having it replaced with fire in the Galar region would do wonders to Heliolisk. Number 5. Speaking about fire electric types not being used, what about Zeb Striker? The flame charging zebra comes in at number 5 to show off a new concept pitch to get things into shape. With Rapidash moving over to the fairy side of things, maybe Zeb Striker can pick up the pace with some flaming hot fire spikes coupled with some electrifying charging sparks. I mean, Zeb Striker learns Flame Charge at level 18, and if we just take the 1 away, that's Generation 8. I think with a little combination of original Rapidash, add to Zeb Striker's layout, and with a bit of a Pegasus demeanor, we can get one step further into a new final stage evolution. The sheer determination and glaring face of Zeb Striker, like it's asking for more and doesn't want to give up, just shows its willingness to fight for a spot in the limited amount of deck slots we have going for us, and with that rare, fire electric type looking like it's up for grabs between it and Heliolisk, the battle continues for this glaring, cool zebra. Number 4. Bibarel. I don't know what they were thinking here. They think they can just get away with removing Bibarel? You can get rid of Arceus in the original Sword and Shield games, but Bibarel? That's just going too far. Bibarel's a very simple Pokemon, but seeing the whole line be shifted over to a new typing would bring about not only the cheerful happiness to see Bibarel power up, but also the right amount of carefree. It's just great to have this design. It's just such a silly Pokemon, and the Pokemon we plopped a lot of HMs onto. There are a lot of typings you could throw onto a new line for Bibarel and its evolution, but I think the more natured ones will work really well for this beaver. Grass, rock, ground, maybe fighting now that there's no HMs and it's fighting to get on someone's team. A grass ground type seems like a really nice combination to end up as. Whether they choose to spread it out with a grass Bidoof and gaining a ground typing later, the final evolution could be a bit of a leafy green Bibarel with a buzzsaw tail and many reasons to build a dam. I expected a much tougher look now that it's turned away from HM usage and needs to prepare itself in a new region to actually fight on someone's team. Number 3. Jinx. Jinx is one of those few, lined up solo Gen 1 Pokemon that didn't manage to get an evolution. Scyther got one, Electabuzz got one, Magmar got one, and with Mr. Mime moving over to the ice side evolving into Mr. Rime, Jinx might need a full-fledged upgrade. It did manage to get a pre-evolution with Smoochum, which is okay, but will probably be neglected in transforming over, much like Mime Jr. The most envisioned evolution for Jinx has always been a more lean, sleeker version of itself, sort of a crossbreed between it and Frostlass, but what you didn't know is that there is already a Jinx evolution. Serena. That is the same Pokemon pretending to be a grass type? In all seriousness, the type choice for Jinx is a difficult one. Both Ice and Psychic seem like its staples, and a lot of fitting types happen to be far too common, such as Dark, maybe Steel, and once you start using the standard, closer to human types, you end up with the fear of her just evolving into a really creepy Barbie doll. I think Electric would be a really unique pick for this type of Pokemon, just having the current radiating around it, maybe they seem like psychic electric spells, but the most likely adaptation for Jinx would be an Ice Fairy type. Imagine Jinx just evolving into more of a queen, with grace and less creepy vibes. They'll still be there, but just a little creepy as a treat. However, Jinx's evolution this way will be managing to contrast itself with Mr. Rime, as they gain a typing from each other. Mr. Mime now has Ice, and Jinx's evolution in itself will have original Mr. Mime's Fairy typing. The last thing we would need here is a name, and with such a bold and creative statement like naming an evolution Mr. Rime, we just need to call Jinx's evolution Jinxed. Number 2. Dunsparce. I did say this about Bibarel being removed, but how did they just take Dunsparce out of the game and never give it the chance to be thrown into the mix of a region that both changes the typing in a new form and evolves them? Well, that has to be because they're hiding it for the expansion to surprise us again like they did with Sirfetch'd. Sirfetch'd though, I'm more ready for Sir Dunce. Now you all know the typing I'm gonna pick, and it's Dragon, but also Dragon Ground. Two very well talked about types that could make this land snake a real threat. Garchomp is coming back. Oh yeah? Well, Dunsparce is evolving into Dunspazen. It's just done with spazzing. You think you can fight that? Cynthia's signature Pokemon? That's actually pretty good criteria. It's a Pokemon who is just so tired of being left in the dust and is currently in a more calm state from the people posting on forums about their desires for this Pokemon to evolve because it has a feeling it's coming back in this expansion and we'll be getting what we've been asking for and what we've been waiting for. We're ready. Dragonsparce. Number 1. Stantler. There has never been a Pokemon so in the middle of many other Pokemon. I had Dunsparce before this because it's a likely, super deserves a Pokemon that everyone calls for. But who's calling for Stantler? It's sitting there too. Let's list the solo non-evolving Pokemon that came before it when asked who needs an evolution, just to show how patient Stantler has been and why it deserves the help of getting the number 1 spot. Dunsparce, Shuckle, Farfetch'd before these changes, Jinx, still, even though it has Smoochum, and the list goes on. This deer needs some love. Stantler's ideal typing would have to be an Ice type. Maybe we could go Ice Fighting just to make it more beefy and muscular, but an evolving Ice Stantler, both pure or added in with many types, would be a dream. There's Sawsbuck in winter form, which could have honestly been a cool base design evolution for Stantler, but needing it to move to a new region to get the real deer commander vibe for hoisting sleighs, which, even though it's actually a caribou, but I think the deer route isn't too bad of one. Give it an icy white winter beard, make it stand tall, and increase its antlers, and bam, we've got a new ice pal. Imagine they throw us a curveball and give Stantler that ice form, as well as bringing back Sawsbuck into the new expansions with Stantler. Except instead of an evolution, Stantler gets an ice form, and a nice pre-evolution child to match the Pokemon it gets mistaken for a lot with Sawsbuck. Now the whole family's invited over for Christmas. Sawsbuck and Stantler have to look over Deerling and young Stanty, they get away for 2 minutes, and now the kids are fighting over the only one Switch they have. That would be a Game Freak twist. A random pre-evolution to a pre-existing Pokemon? Is that a topic for another video? They're gonna hide at least one in there. And we'll find out next time.